Arkansas vision. Can the pied gene affect red eye glow? No. I have a pup that's out of a lilac pied stud and a blue mum. So what we've got here is a lilac pied stud and a blue mum. Here's chocolate. He has chocolate pads. He should, because he's chocolate. He's pied. We know that. They said his eyes do not glow red. They should. If this dog is a cocoa dog, it have a red eye glow. That means a red eye glow, and that dog will have a red eye glow. I've never seen a dog that's COCO that didn't have a red eye glow. I believe mums carries the CO gene. Okay, so what you're saying is that mum's that. So what? So you say, is it possible he is lilac? Well, look, you said he's lilac, and now you're saying he doesn't have a red eye glow. So let's just go with that first. What are we going to get? All blue dogs, of which they are going to be either that, or they're going to be, or they're going to be little COs, little COs. So we know that. And they're all going to be SN. All blue pied carriers, half of which are lilacs and half of which are carry cocoa. If in fact you've got this wrong, and in fact he is this, let's do a Punnett square on that particular part right there. What do you get? You get, and this is very confusing the way I've drawn this, we better make that a small c there so you can see it. So we get this here, which has nothing to do with chocolate, cocoa at all. We get this here, which is and this here. They are carriers. We get 1 and 4 puppies that are chocolate, and we get 1 and 4 puppies that have nothing to do with chocolate at all. So, there you go. But look, you know, here's the problem, in my opinion. You've got somebody who's a stud dog. They don't know what they got. That's crazy. That's worrisome. Don't like it. Either this dog is a lilac or an 8. And if you've got a dog that doesn't have a red eye glow, then you need to go educate yourself more to explain why that would be, because it doesn't make any sense. Easton Meyer. Since I have a male and a female instead of a progesterone testing, could I just go off when the male is trying to mount the female and she flags when to breed? Certainly. That's the way we used to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, there is some things wrong with that, and that is that you can have a male dog who's, especially young dogs, very insistent, try to breed anything that moves and give you wrong indication. You can have a female who's very shy, that doesn't like to be mated, period, and not going to let it happen. And so in those situations, you can get false information. But there are other things that help you out on this. Behavior, certainly. Her blood color, absolutely. The number of days that she's, from when she first showed signs of blood to when you bred her. And in a situation like this, if you're not going to do progesterone testing, breed 2 or 3 times, 2 days apart, and cover your window of opportunity. So it absolutely can be done. And remember, go back 10 years ago, we didn't have progesterone machines. We just did it. We just did it based on behavior anyway. Frenchies says, I just did an SI, surgical insemination, on my lady. The vet did the progesterone test. It showed a 13.5. The next day we did the SI. Is that good timing? Probably. Because if she was a 13.5, the next day you'd expect it to be something around a 23 or something, which is in SI territory, a little early, but probably okay. But what you really should have done is another progesterone test to confirm where she is. Frenchy stories. I have a female black brindle that I'm going to breed with another male blue fawn brindle. There's no such thing as a male blue fawn brindle. There is such a thing as a male, of course, but you can't have a fawn brindle. That's a misnomer. That can't be. So we're going to assume that this dog is, in fact, a brindle. So we're going to say this dog that you're mating to is a blue dog that carries a copy of brindle. And you're breeding that to your dog that's a black brindle. So we're assuming that this dog is not anything to do with blue, and it carries at least 1 copy of brindle. What would we get? We would get all blue carrier dogs, of which 1/4 of the dogs would be fawn, because they're not going to have brindle. There'll be NNs here. And then half the dogs would have a copy of brindle, and a quarter of the dogs would have 2 copies of brindle. So there's your answer. If this dog in fact has 2 copies of brindle, the black brindle you mentioned, it might have 2 copies of brindle, KB, 2 bottles of brindle, then what happens? Well, the answer is that you get either half brindles or half 2 copies of brindles, and they're all going to be brindle dogs, no doubt about it. So either way, I think you have on your lap a litter of mostly brindle dogs showing up. Loyal for Life kennels. I have a lilac and tan male that has white chest. He's tested NN for pied. Is that not accurate? No, it's probably absolutely fine. So the reason for this was, I did a video the other day, and that dog had a white patch on its chest, and I said to Chanel, that white patch, does she carry pied? And Chanel said, no, I don't think so. She bred to Manda, who has a copy of pied, and she got some pied puppies. So we know that both parents had to have had a copy of pied. And in a situation where you breed 2 dogs that have pied, Punnett square time, what do you get? Here's my, yes, we're still going here. You get this. No brindle. Excuse me, no pied. All pied carriers. So you get 1/4 no pied whatsoever, 1/4 completely pied, and 1/2 pied carriers. But just because a dog has a white chest does not mean that dog is a brindle dog, though it's likely, and I think the more white you have on the chest, the more likely that dog carries a copy of pied. But that's just anecdotal, and it's certainly not to be taken as being 100% correct. More on 9/11. What levels are you starting your AIs at whole blood settings? So we've now got whole blood tests for the FindCare machine, and you have to press a little button on the machine on the touchscreen to say blood, whole blood, not serum. Numbers are exactly the same. It makes no difference. You don't have to change any of your protocols. Progesterone is progesterone. They're the same thing, regardless of whether you used a serum test or a whole blood test. The results are still just as meaningful. Somebody's guessing on 7 pups on that litter that Chanel we showed the other day about timing C-section. She had 6, so you're close. I thought it was 7. Look, I'm getting some really fresh ones here. This is 5 minutes ago. My girl came into heat, this is her 3rd heat cycle, was going to be her first breeding. On day 6, brought her to a progesterone test of 0.08. So I waited her and brought her on day 9, 0.07. I brought her on day 13. Now she's bleeding and fragging, brought her in. I was getting it, I thought I was getting a bad reading. She's at 0.9. What do you think happened? Her flow turned pink on day 11. Okay. Well, okay. So this is a situation that I get into occasionally where a dog has, you're doing a progesterone test. And where you'd expect the progesterone test to do that, the dog is doing this. And then the question is, what the heck's going on? Well, my advice on this is that you test probably about, if you're getting numbers that are sub 1, you test every 5 days and you wait for numbers to start going up. Or if a discharge starts to turn pink or clear, you do a test right away. Since you're at day 11 and she's turned pink, then the question gets to be is there something wrong with the progesterone test? And although that's not that likely, it certainly can happen. I mean, it can happen for a number of reasons. It can happen because your test kit's expired. It can happen because the person doing the test doesn't know how to do it. And it can happen because the machine is faulty. The faulty machine part hardly ever happens, but it certainly can happen. What should you do? Go somewhere else, get a test done from another clinic with a different machine and confirm what's going on. My female's last heat was at the beginning. This is Mary Eve. My female's last heat was the beginning of October, so she's been almost 7 months and still no signs of heat. Should I be worried? No, you should not be worried. And then you come back and you say, is it a silent heat? You did a progesterone test and it came back at 0.3 nanograms milliliter. Do you think I missed it? Well, no, I know you didn't miss it. Because if you'd missed it, the dog's here. So what happens is, every 6 months, the dog goes into heat. And when it's in heat, the numbers go up and they stay high for 2 months, regardless whether you bred the dog or not. Since you're still in this level here, we know that that's not happened and we haven't missed the heat. So I know you've not missed the heat. The question is, should you be concerned because it's been now 7 months rather than 6? No, not at all. There's not a clock inside a dog that's set for exactly 6 months, where all dogs go into heat every 6 months. Some dogs take a year, especially smaller dogs, especially smaller breeds too. So just wait it out. If you want to try to get her to go into heat, the best thing you can do is to put her with another dog that's in heat. That can help get the engine going. But no, there's nothing here that should worry you at all. Just it's a waiting game, and just don't push it. You're good. See ya. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.